Good morning. Saturday, November 18th. Hope you guys are doing well. It's about 20 minutes before 10 in the morning. We had a little bit of a hard frost last night, and sun's coming out and melting it all where the sun's shining right now. It's looking pretty blue skies out there. Looks a little chilly, but it's definitely sunny, so I'll take it. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. I wanted to talk about something that's still on my mind, has been on my mind. The very first time I remember hearing anything about the Mallory effect was Brian Staveley and Moneybag 73 talked about it a few years ago. And I can remember hearing some of the things they were saying and being kind of intrigued and curious, but at the same time, like I am, very skeptical. And so I decided, he said something, someone said something, I think it was Moneybags, said that if you don't believe that geography's changing, just get out a world map and take a look. And I'm like, well, I'll take you up on that because I know there's certain areas of the world map I know exactly what they look like, right? Like Italy and Sicily, So I went right to Italy and Sicily. First place I went because I knew what it looked like. And boy, was I wrong. Italy and Sicily look so close to each other that they could have been touching. And as a matter of fact, I was like, I had to pinch zoom my phone map just to see if they were. And I had to go in quite a ways to make sure. And then I realized, man, there's such a small gap there. There's such a small area in between Italy and Sicily. They could put a bridge there. This is what I'm thinking to myself. This is ridiculous. There could be a bridge here now. And then I'm like, wait a minute, let me look up a bridge. I looked up the bridge and there was a bridge. It was a long awaited bridge that whatever Italian president had finally agreed to. I guess it had been a long drawn out process that they wanted to put a bridge between the Straits of Messina, which was in between Italy and Sicily at the narrowest point where they could cross and just travel from one on the highway back and forth from Italy to Sicily on the highway. And I'm like, there's a bridge there. I mean, it just blew my mind. I was floored. And as I got into other effects, even though I kept Italy, was always on my mind, I never really went back and looked at the bridge evidence anymore. And then one day I was talking to someone and I'm like, well, let me go find this thing with the bridge. And guess what? It's a long proposed bridge. It has not been built. But Italy is still a very, very short distance within a couple of miles from Italy, Sicily and Italy. That's I guess that was my first big mind bender. That was what really showed me, okay, if geography is going to change, then maybe some of these other things are worth questioning one more time, instead of just saying, well, I don't know if that changed, or I don't really have an anchor memory, so I can't really talk about it. But with that, I do. I have an anchor memory. I looked at that map almost every day that I was in school for many years. Depending on what class I was in, they always had the maps down, though, it seemed like, in front of the room. And I don't know how many times I had an opportunity to see that pulled down map, all through even junior high. We had junior high before middle school. 2 grades in one building, an old building in 1928. The maps were ancient. They still had the maps that were put up on the wall, more than likely, in 1928. They were pretty shredded. But they all had that distance between Italy and Sicily, and you can't find that distance on any old map anymore. They're right up on each other now. And that was my thing. I guess that was what really got me, where it was like, okay, there's something definitely going on here. I know there is. And that's why I started really looking, because something that hit me as true was right in front of me. And I had to look at it, and that's what got my attention initially. And then when I heard about the biblical changes, I'm like, yeah, this is going a little too far. There's no way the Bible's going to change. But the Bible's changed, you guys. And it still is. I'm not saying, like a lot of people will say immediately when I say something like that to them, oh, well, I suppose you think we probably should never read the Bible again, right? It's just trash. It's garbage. We should just throw it away, right? But I've never said anything ever like that because that's not what I would ever do. As a matter of fact, I'm buying more Bibles, right? I still can't get my brothers to talk to me about it. 6.5 years, roughly. Truth bomb after truth bomb. Questions like, does God reward fools and transgressors? I mean, is that a yes or a no answer? It's a yes or a no answer. Come on. Does God reward fools and transgressors? I can't get an answer. Oh, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. You've been there yourself, but it's just a little frustrating when you can see it so plainly and you know that they should see it too, but they're pretending. They're pretending as if they don't, or they're hiding under a pretense that they don't, so they don't have to talk about it, which could be the case, I suppose. They're pretending they don't see it because then they would have to engage in conversation and discussion over it. And in the first place, they just don't really want to believe in it anyway, so it's just easier to just leave it like that. Look, I don't believe in it, and I don't want to talk about it. And that kind of ends it. You know, that way they can just sit there on their high horse and go, you're wrong. See, I can prove it by looking it up in the Bible. See how wrong you are? So why should I listen to you, right? And that's where they go. So I don't know. I'm praying that their eyes will be opened, that if possible, the scales that are keeping them from seeing will fall off their eyes and they'll see it. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I can present it to them in black and white right on a piece of paper and they'll assume that it's always been that way. Babies are being boiled in the Bible and eaten by their mothers, but it's always been that way. Fathers have always eaten their sons, and sons have always eaten their fathers in the Bible, right? It's always been that way, right? Because if it hasn't always been that way, that means the Bible's changing. So it's always been that way, right? No answers. You know why? Because they don't know how to answer it. That's what I think it is. So they would rather you just eat nothing, static. Just eat static. We're not going to say anything to you. You're not worth talking to, brother. Anyway, it is an irritating thing. I'm going to keep this short. Just wanted to share. That was kind of my first real eye-opening Mallory effect that really got me looking into it more. So guys, what was yours? I'd be kind of curious to see what you guys first saw and realized that, you know, you weren't in Kansas anymore. Let me know. Good talking to you. Love you guys. Take care.